Okay. Let's see what is happening here. Is this correct? Is this going? Eh. Why is everything so difficult? Oh, all right. I guess that's a past broadcast now. There we go. Try this. There we go. Try this. Hey, okay, that's not a bad delay. There we go. Try this. Hey, okay, that's not a bad delay. Okay, boop. Try this. Hey, okay, that's not a bad delay. Okay, boop. Try this. It's like a 7-second delay. Somewhere in there. Boop. It's like a 7-second. Okay, what's up, Shepard? Mic is perfect. Okay, good. Yeah, things seem to be all right now. So let's try the deving screen here. Okay. I want to see. I gotta like watch the stream, and let me mute myself on it so I can see. Again, I want to see like delay. So we do that 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. Okay, 3 seconds right there. That's good. That's good. All right. All right. I don't hate it. So it's interesting. It seems like if I stop a stream, like if I get disconnected or something like that, it seems like it makes like just a new stream. Like the people that were watching aren't just going to start seeing it again. It seems like they have to go back to the page and choose it again. I'm not certain. I'm trying to figure this out. Hold on 1 second. Wait, what? Conflict of interest? What? Was by a connection to the topic? Oh, that's dumb. Okay, well, I spent a lot of time on that too. Well, that sucks. I was trying to make a Wikipedia article about Mortuary Assistant for web crawling, because I was trying to get like if you web crawl. But if you look down below, it says Mortuary Assistant, but there's no like game box art for it. So, hey Franco. So it seems like you can do some web crawly stuff so that it pulls from that, and Wikipedia was one of those places. So I was like, okay, I'll just make a Wikipedia article. And I took all this time to make all this stuff, and it got rejected because there's a conflict of interest because I'm too close to it. So I may have a bias. Like, all I did was just give factual information. But, so, no, I didn't, no, Joe. I don't know. I'm testing this stuff out. So Trisha, I'm testing this stuff out to see how it works and like if it's a huge pain or anything like that. I haven't made any official decision yet. I haven't made an official like return to streaming or anything like that. I'm giving this stuff a try and see how it goes. I don't have like, I'm still like, there's so many odds and end things that I'm getting caught up with after like all the travel and packs and COVID and everything. Like, I've been doing so many, like giving certain things to my publisher that they need. There's other projects that I have spinning up and things with them that I need to work on. So I'm trying to like get a million things working again, right? And so I haven't been like, okay, this is what my streaming schedule is going to be. You know, I have plenty of time during the day now and stuff, so it might be during the day. I really don't know. So I wanted to just hop in and see how this, how this works. Is it easy enough to work with? It seems like it's not too bad, So I can't say, oh yeah, I'm done with Twitch. I don't know why. I kind of want to be. Like I have, it's like It's like a gut feeling. Like, I don't know. The ad stuff on Twitch has gotten so bad, but it's like a more clunky. Yes. Yeah, it's definitely more clunky. It's also like, Twitch has like the visual side of like, you can put all your information down there, links to stuff and everything. This is just like YouTube like with like the description and everything. Yeah, they kind of did dark. Yeah. Also, what's up? Trisha's really weird place right now. Yeah. It's just like I'm not big enough on any platform for it to really matter, right? Like I could come to YouTube and it would be totally fine. The colors and hierarchy. Oh, so I use a script editing what is it? IDE called Rider, and it just has a lot of really awesome IntelliSense stuff and everything, but that integrates really heavily with Unity. But they have a plugin for Unity called Rider Flow that lets you do this sort of stuff, where these are just, they're fancy game objects, fancy empty game objects, where they get this sort of like extra ability to them, and you can make notes about them and color code them and everything. So it's pretty nifty. I like it. It does have a little bit of clunk to it when you run the game, because every time you make a new game object, it like checks to see if it's this sort of special thing or something. I'm not sure. So I have some things that create sound effects by just instantiating them into the scene. So if I have the scene view open and it creates it, there's like a little chug whenever I do like open a door or something, If I hide the hierarchy or collapse the scene, then I don't have that problem because it doesn't see it and it doesn't do anything with it visually. But yeah, I'm super sold on Rider. I've been using it for a while now. It's awesome. But get this up. I just figured I'd let this go. Subscribed for years. Just want to say thank you. Thank you. Well, I still have a while until I see anything from it, sales-wise, right? Because I go through my publisher now. And Steam takes basically 2 months from launch to see any revenue, because they pay for the previous month at the end of the month, right? So I launched August 2nd, so all the sales and things that happen in August, I didn't see at the end of August. And then September, I won't see those sales till next month, but I will see the August sales. So that'll finally happen. But that goes to my publisher. Then my publisher, after it gets processed, then has to send my cut to me. And I don't know how long that will take. So I haven't seen anything yet. How much do I think I'll get? I have no idea. It's tough to tell. Like, Steam doesn't do a great job of showing like how much you got in a certain time period. Like, I've set it up before and it still shows me like everything. And then also there's the cut that Steam takes, obviously. And then there's the cut that my publisher takes after recoup. Like the way my contract is set up is, this is a really standard thing too, is I don't see anything until my publisher recoups the money they put in. Now, they didn't put in tons and tons of money because they came in late in development for me. They didn't provide any money for development. They mainly provided money for like PR, advertising, things like that, right? So that needs to be recouped, which it has, but like that needs to come out. Then their percentage needs to come out, and then my percentage comes to me. And I don't know how much of sales went from that first month, right? So I really don't know the exact number. 1 in a million, yes. Somewhere between there. Any plans to go to EGS? I don't think I'm going to anything else right now. PAX was kind of it. And after getting COVID there, I'm not really sold on the value of it. Oh, the game can't wait. Thank you, S. I'm trying to go through everything here. There we go. Yes, this is my first game of the publisher. All my other games I self-published. Mortuary Assistant I worked on for, I think, about 1.5 years before I got a publisher. I tried approaching, like I sent my stuff to Devolver Digital about a year into development, but they rejected it. And then it was only till after the demo went out that I got approached by a number of other publishers from it was like Team 17, Glowstick, there were like 3 others, I forget the name, but whatever. And then Dread XP approached me to work on Dread Collection 5, where I did Book of Blood. And then from there, conversation spawned into, well, if you're talking to publishers, we're willing to talk too. And I liked them, so I ended up going with them. They also, since they're new and scrappy, like they, the cost for things is more at cost than what a regular publisher would put out. They're specifically oriented to working with indies, so they don't do any like I'm sure if I had gone with Team 17, they'd been like, hey, we're gonna put $250,000 to advertising without really even consulting me, and then I would need to recoup $250,000 before I saw anything. So Dread is much better to go with. Do you already have plans for the future game? Do you mean for new stuff for Mortuary Assistant or new stuff game-wise? Any plans to go? Oh, sorry. Any plans to go? Yes. Yeah, it should be. Actually, I believe Epic Game Store is going to go live sooner than later. I know it's being reviewed. That's one of the nice things about Publisher 2 is I put up the builds and they take care of that and let me know how it's going. But yes, overall, this is my first experience with a publisher. It's the first game that anyone's cared enough about to want to publish it. Yeah, for sure, Izzy. Did you make the model for Mimic? Yes. Thank you. Yeah, I did everything myself in the game, from code to art and animation. Some things like the characters, I use a program called Character Creator. I had started by modeling. I remember early on in the project, I went to make the first dead body, which was an old lady. I did the high-res sculpt in ZBrush, finished that, and then went to start doing the low poly. And I got halfway through the low poly where I realized it's like, I want to have like multiple dead bodies, and I still have to do the spirits, and I still have to do the main characters and stuff. And it's like, this isn't sustainable for a single person, and I don't have the money to hire someone to make 20 different models or whatever. So I had to find another solution, and I ended up with Character Creator, where now I do Character Creator work to make the model, and then I'll do a combination of that plus ZBrush plus Photoshop plus Substance Painter to make characters. And then animation is a mix of hand animation that I do and a mocap suit that I bought. It's the most expensive and most worthwhile thing that I have spent money on ever for a game. It was about $2,700. So it was super expensive, but it has saved hours and hours and hours of animation time. There's still a lot of cleanup, but in comparison to hand animating stuff, it takes way less time and it looks a lot better. Jeez, sorry, I haven't talked this much since clearing COVID, so gotta clear my throat a lot. Far. Thank you. Glad you're starting here. Thank you. It's good to hear about the animation time. Yep, Rococo. You got it. Anyway, so for the question about future stuff, I'll just give a general answer since it didn't come through after that. Lonely Shark, hey! See you on YouTube. I'm giving it a shot. I wanted to set this stuff up and see how it goes. It seems easy enough. I don't know. Twitch is really, it's sat weird with me for a while now, and I just don't know, like, I think the main thing that keeps people in my tier of like, handful of viewers and just kind of like, my level of streamers is, I think what keeps them there is the better discoverability and subs, because Prime is something that, a smaller streamer can be like, hey, use your Prime on me, it's free, right? And so they can still get something. But then ads come in and it just destroys the experience. And unless you're going to be cognizant of the way you have to game ads to be like, okay, well, I've got to, at the beginning of every stream, I got to play 3 minutes of ads or whatever in order to avoid mid-roll, you know, that sort of thing. So I don't know. That sort of stuff has just always sat sort of weird with me. Thank you, Portal. What draws you to making horror games? Well, so since 2005, I was working in the AAA industry. I was working on MMOs and stuff, and for about 13 years from there, I was working at different studios and everything, and I kind of got to a point where I'd reached where I really like kind of what I felt was the pinnacle. I was a environment art lead at Disney on a Star Wars project, and for me, that was kind of like okay, with everything I've done producer stuff, I've done development director stuff, I've done art director stuff, I've like kind of bounced around everywhere in all these projects, and now I've done this thing. And where do I go from here? Well, I could continue to try to get an art director role at Disney, or I could try to just chase different titles, different projects, and that's fine. But I was like, I want to do something more, and that's what made me make the jump to indie. And I decided to go with horror because I have always really enjoyed horror. I like creepy stuff. If you talk to me in person, I don't think I really come off as someone that has messed up like thoughts and things, but I don't think I do on a regular basis. But I think horror just kind of encompasses everything. Like I feel like you can have every type of game within horror influence and not the other way around, really, right? Like you can even have, if you know there's a cartoon, it's old now, called Invader Zim, which is not horror in any way, right? But it has this weird, quirky influence that's not something you would normally see in regular cartoons. It's just weird, right? And I kind of consider that the same horror influence, you know, where it's like these weird, darker palettes and they're kind of weird proportions and strange concepts and everything. So I feel like I can go anywhere within the horror space and still stay within my brand, right? Whereas if I do dating sims, like that's what I would be known for, and I'd only be doing dating sims, you know, and I want to be able to like, however, if I do horror games in general, I could make a horror dating sim and it would still be on brand, right? You know what I mean? So that's kind of why I went that route. That's a very long answer, I'm sorry, but I haven't spoken to anyone in a while and I'm so very lonely. You left earlier. Have you ever experienced burnout? Sorry, I'm getting caught up with things here. By the way, don't feel bad. I'm totally cool with chatting and answering stuff right now. I have things I need to do for Mortuary Assistant that I would like to do for Halloween, but I'm taking it easier right now. So it's totally cool. Let me get caught up here. See what you're doing. YouTube makes sense. More audience for this kind of thing here. Yeah, possibly. I'm willing to jump in and give it a shot. Pretty sure people who don't have partner don't get ads. So if they don't have partner, they still get pre-roll, and they have no control over that. And that's one thing I really don't like. Because I've rated people and stuff to try and give them my viewers and everything, and then I sit there through 5 ads before I can talk to them, you know? And it's just not, it's not cool. There's just streamer ask for his partner to get removed since he can't. Yes. Yep. Yeah, for sure. But like I said, even if you don't have any of those things, you still get pre-roll and you have no control over that. Have you ever experienced a burnout? If so, how do you deal with it? I have not. But that's because of how I approach things, I think. I think I have a video on my channel about it, staying motivated and stuff, but it's changed a little bit since then. Mainly what keeps me going is scheduling stuff out. I know that sounds really boring and it's not particularly sexy, but if I find myself kind of losing steam on something and losing my way, I know what I need to do is step back, look at the larger view of the game, and re-break it down into manageable tasks, right? because I may hit something where there's like a story element or a gameplay element that I didn't think all the way through, and then go, ah, shit, what do I do? So instead of spinning my wheels on it, losing my motivation, I say, okay, well, what's the main goal of the game? What's going on with the entire thing? And then from there, I go, all right, well, what does that have to do with the point that I'm at? Okay, so I need to progress this way in order to get from point A in the main game, the overarching idea, to point B in the overarching idea. So I need to come up with something to solve this. And so I solve that as a large concept. And then from there, I'll break it down into smaller tasks and be like, what do I need to do to then achieve this section? Okay, I need to make these things. Okay, that requires me to make these props. That requires me to do this code, right? And then from there, that becomes manageable bite-sized things. And as I complete those, that keeps me motivated, right? So if I have to make a door, if I have to make any sort of like small prop, I'll make the props and put them in the editor and get them set up and look at them and be like, hey, I accomplished something and it feels good, right? And then I make some code that utilizes those things. And when that works, I feel good about that. And then that keeps me going and that propels me into the next task. And I just kind of keep doing that, you know? That's how I deal with those things. Now, granted, at the end of a project, I'm like, oh my God, I've been working on this forever. Please be done. And then I need a bit of a rest after that. But I don't seem to go real long before my brain starts spinning on new ideas. Plus, I just really like doing it, which helps a lot, right? Doing everything, I think, lends to staying motivated, as silly as that sounds, just for my personality type, I guess. Like, I have an artist background, but I had to teach myself to code when I first started in indie. So that kind of gives me this puzzle solving aspect, this technical aspect that I don't get an outlet for otherwise with art. So I kind of get to switch gears whenever I want, and that's pretty fun. It's also super gratifying when things work. The thing about your game is just how they feel. So cinematic and horror atmosphere. Thank you. It's really hard to come by. Thank you. Hopefully I can just keep that feel and build on it more and more and more and more. Can you make a third-person horror game? I've thought about it. So for this isn't to plug my Patreon, but but on Patreon, where you can support all my work. No, I have plans for it now that I'm kind of getting back into everything, and I've wanted to do this for a while, but I haven't had the free time because of Mortuary Assistant. I really want to start doing mini games, like prototypes essentially. Just for patrons, and they'll just be little things, just little concepts and stuff like that. And one of them is a third person thing that I was looking at. However, I'm really into first person as an immersive technique. I feel like it's much easier for people to buy into something when they're not looking over someone's shoulder. I know that's not necessarily true. There's a lot of successful games that do third person, and I'm not against it. I think it's a nice challenge, so I'm still open to doing it. I just don't really have many concepts that I've thought of that utilize it. So that's why I bring up the Patreon thing, because as I build those things, that gives me more leeway to be like, all right, I'm going to try third person here. I'm going to try this there. I'm going to try that. I'm going to try this, right? And that's what I want to do. I want to make things that people can play and experience, and also give me some neat things to try and work off of, and maybe go off of some of the ideas that I've had sitting around for a while, just in a small way. What do you think of AI art? I think it's really cool. I think there's this, thought of like, oh, artists are going to get replaced. But if you kind of change the view to like it's a tool for artists, I think it's pretty awesome, honestly. Now this could also be the developer side of me that's doing everything. That's like, wow, it'd be really cool to be able, like Blender uses some AI stuff with this new plugin that I saw. I don't use Blender, but it's a really cool thing where you kind of type in the thing you want and you're like, I want a tiling texture that's rocks, and it'll generate this AI tiling rock texture. Now it doesn't have normal maps or anything like that, but in the future it could, right? Now, that being something you can do, that's really useful for an artist. It doesn't make me not have to make the other stuff I'm making, but it makes me not have to make a rock texture in ZBrush potentially, right? So that sort of stuff is super helpful. And so I don't know. I think it's also really good for inspiration. Like say you're a concept artist. and you're trying to come up with an idea for something, one of the things I've noticed in a lot of AI generated stuff is it has this Beksinski quality to it. Maybe that's the, you know, one particular AI that I've seen a lot or something. If you don't know, it's not Rodoslav, it's oh man, how is it pronounced? I had it. I took so much time to pronounce it, and then I forgot. I was so proud of myself too. Zislav Beksinski, whatever, Beksinski. Anyway, there's a quality like that to it that's very creepy, and like I love it. So it's like, I feel like if you are trying to come up with ideas for something, you can use those things, and then if you want to photo bash with it, you could. If you want to just use it as inspiration, you could. I think it's very cool. I think it has its use. I think people are unnecessarily afraid of it, in some veins. But who knows? It could end up destroying everything for artists, but I don't think so. I think there's always going to be an outlet for the human element. Sorry, I know I'm super behind here. I'll go quicker. Every game you make, I've made content out of. Awesome. Use space to kind of create your own stories. Yeah, that's great. That's what I love to see. You know, I really love the symbiotic relationship between indie game developers and content creators. Just because I see them as similar work, because you're trying to put all this effort into creating these videos and being seen when it's really tough to do, and indie devs are doing the same thing, right? And if you play the game and show it to people and they think it's cool, then I get more people with eyes on the game. If I make a game that is compelling for content creation, you get more content out of it. And it's really cool to see. So I love when people use my stuff for content, and I love when I see them grow with it. Like, that's really, really cool. That tells me I've done something right, and I get to see someone else succeed, which is always really, really awesome. Rex's apartment is really funky in a cool way. The microwave and drawers are in such funny places. The low microwave is something I have seen in studio apartments, though I do get comments on it all the time. So I decided to leave it. I was like, I'm not fixing that. Too many people are like, why is the microwave down there? Like, it's staying. Wasn't expecting to stream. Yeah, comms, I figured I'd give it a shot. Seems fine. I don't have any issue with it. We were talking about kind of issues I have with Twitch. They're not massive, but I think they've all piled up enough that I'm kind of just getting to this point where I'm like, I'm really getting tired of all the things where I'm like, okay, well, do I unlock these emotes? Do I get to do that? What about the ads? Do I have to run these at the beginning? Do I have to run, like, you know, it seems like there's a dance you have to start doing to try and game it to be as enjoyable as possible for people. That is nowhere I expected, not where I expect you. It's not Oreos, yeah. Tiny prototype for Patreon made in Unreal 5 would be cool. So yeah, that's another reason for it, Matt, is to be able to do things like that. Everybody wants me to do something in Unreal 5. I think it'll be fine. I'm totally open to doing it, and I hear there's a C# wrapper for it now, which is even better for me. But I don't believe that Unreal 5 is a make game good button, which I think a lot of people believe it is. I'm not saying that's what you think, but that's what I think people are like, you got to do something Unreal, because if you could do this here, it'll be awesome here. And it's like, there's plenty of janky stuff from indie developers in Unreal. But yeah, I do still want to try it though. I actually got started in game development way back before the Earth's crust cooled when I was like 14. Just working in the original Unreal editor for Unreal Tournament, the original Unreal Tournament. And that's how I started working and stuff. And I went all the way through that to Unreal 2003, its editor. So I know it. I've used it in the past, but it's been so long, I need to familiarize myself with it again. But I do love it. Do you have an idea for what happens after the game story-wise? Yes. So someone had asked about additional things for the future. I would like to do some DLC, like actual DLC that goes into Rayman a bit more. I have an entire story about Rayman that is just sitting somewhere on Google Drive, right? Like I have a lot of extra lore that I've written that is not in the game that I originally wrote just to flesh out design elements and concepts. So I would love to dive into those a little bit more. And then also I have a post that I put on my site. Let me see if I can. I also worked on my website. These are all the odds and ends things that I've been needing to do for a while. But here, I can actually share that post. I've got the FAQ thing and post launch. Here, I'll just share the post launch one, and you can go to the FAQ blog post there too if you want to know too. Anyway, so there's some stuff there about what my plans are for the future. Some stuff for Halloween. I've been working on that. I made a cool system that checks what date it is, and if it's within a certain range, it'll do certain stuff. And so I want to do that for more than just Halloween. I want to do other holidays, and I think I'm going to have a section when I do the game settings menu where people can toggle things on and off and stuff and kind of tailor things to what they want. I want you to be able to put your birthday in too and do something for your birthday. I think that'd be cool. Since I put the effort in, I might as well use it, right? As far as other games and things, I have a lot of stuff I'm working on. If you're familiar, there's a Mortuary Assistant movie that's in the works that I get to be executive producer on. And so I've been doing all sorts of, I just finished reviewing another draft of the script and sending feedback on that. So there's all that stuff. I have another thing spinning up with Dread that hasn't been announced yet. And then another thing kind of through them, but still individual in the future, a ways from now. I seriously have like 2-3 years tied up in things, but they're sort of not side things, but they don't take all my time. So I will still be working on other stuff and maybe a new game. So I have plans. I got big plans. Been a while since I've been on one of these streams. Hope everything is going well. It's been a while for me too, Hound. Things are going well enough. I would still, I would like to see, we were talking about this earlier. I haven't seen any money from sales yet. I would love to see that. It just takes a long time for Steam to do it. It takes about 2 months before you see anything from your work. And it's getting to the point where I'm like, I really like to make sure I have things in the bank account. Can you talk about what was the biggest wish list boost? The demo. So I had the prototype, and then I had the demo that I put out that gained a lot of traction with a lot of YouTubers and Twitch streamers and stuff like that. And that brought me into like the 80,000 wish list range. And then from there, that's when I suddenly got a lot of attention from different publishers and stuff. And then after joining Dread, I think I went up to about 120 before launch. And I don't know how much of that 40 was just natural growth and how much of that was their involvement. I honestly can't say. I don't know. But then there's the additional stuff that they did with like certain ads and stuff. There's that really cool like fake Riverfields ad that seemed to do a lot of great traction for just sales, not necessarily wish lists. But yeah, the major bump was from the demo, though I did have some mild but steady growth over time because I had the page up for so long since the prototype. So it's been out for a while. Are you going to switch to Unreal Engine 5? I will not be switching to Unreal 5. I will dabble in it, though. I would like to get to know it and just try stuff out. And you know what? If it's awesome and easy enough and I can figure out how to do the things that I like to do in it, I mean, sure. If it's better, if I feel it is advantageous to do it, yeah, absolutely. But otherwise, I mean, I can do plenty of things in Unity as well. No one engine is like gonna make things good or bad. Did you see your interview in Bloody Disgusting? I did. I don't know if I read it all, but I did see it. You know what? I don't know if John Wolfe ever saw the Easter egg. I didn't get a chance to watch all of his stuff. So, Doctrine, you said the subject too. What I would actually like to do is I want to do a redux of the original subject. And build what I originally wanted to build. I did not have the ability at the time to do what I wanted to do, and my approach and technique, like my style, has changed a bit since then too. The subject is very much it's my first solo project where I was like, I'm going to take what I've taught myself and learned in programming and try to make a game, right? So it's very much my first game, but I want to go back and turn it into something that I feel does the universe I created justice, because I really like the subject universe. I think it's super cool. So I'd like to give it more attention and go back to make Kohate more of what I imagined, and have it be less of a cat and mouse monster chase and more of a, like, I don't know how to put it, more of an exploration, spooky, like a little more story driven, and just kind of really dive into making it something unique. And then I imagine that will either be a free patch or DLC for the original subject. And then from there, I would move on to other things. We'll see. Extra lore sounds interesting. Yeah, I'm into it. I have some other things I want to dive into just for patches, just some lore stuff that can be found. But Raymond is someone who has a very interesting past at this point, I feel. And so I'd really like to explore it. I talked about maybe using that lore to write a book just as something different to do on the side. I may still do that. I don't know, because I think it'd be fun. And I've done a lot of writing for like scripts and design stuff and everything. I think it'd just be fun to do. Could suck, but it could still be fun to do. Got to learn Unreal 5 as well, just for hobby purposes. Yeah, I think it's worth doing. Nanite is amazing. Yes, that is something that I really want to get to know. Have you participated in Steam Fest? What do you think about it? I have in the past. You mean Next Fest? I think those events, if you do them properly, where you set up the live stream and you put all the effort into advertising at places and really like being a part of it, I feel like it can be a good boost. I did see a bump in wish list when I did that for Mortuary Assistant, and I only did it, I would say, maybe half as much as you could. So I think it's still worth doing. Are there any horror games that inspire you? I'm more inspired by film than games in particular. It's funny, I get in my interviews that I've done, I get a lot of like, have you been inspired by PT at all? If so, what are the things that inspired you from PT? What about PT? It was so awesome. I'm only mildly inspired by PT, like not even really that much. I mean, there's definitely overlap because of the style of how I do the haunting events, but most of how I do horror is inspired by like found footage movies like Paranormal Activity. There's a lot of like the Conjuring series and Sinister and stuff like that, where there's like the way horror is built up or presented. They're things that I really like. So that's more where I get my inspiration from, and I try to emulate those things in game form. That's where most of it comes from. I honestly, like, don't get me wrong, I've played plenty of horror games, but I haven't played nearly as many as I think people would imagine I have. OSB would have to be one of my favorite games. Oh, awesome. I feel like the story is just beginning after the credits, and the menu becomes part of the story. Yeah. I have a soft spot in my heart for Our Secret Below. I feel like that was the first game where I was really hitting a stride of the sort of stuff I like to do. And there's also little mini systems that are baby versions that spawned the Haunt system in Mortuary Assistant. But there's that story, spoilers, I don't know how many people are actually going to play Our Secret Below now anymore, but if you don't want it spoiled, turn your ears off for a second. You know, it does take place in the subject universe as well. And, you know, there's fun things that tie in. And if you've beaten the game like all the way where you've gotten the third ending, I think it ends on a really strong note of like, oh man, I want to keep going, because now it's become like a different game potentially. And I'd really like to build on that with something. I had thought about making a sequel that is more of a spiritual sequel. It's not like obviously it wouldn't be another escape room because it doesn't make sense story-wise, but I think it would be really cool to follow Nia and have her experience sort of fleshed out, and another avenue to explore the subject universe. How did I get the idea for one second? How did I get the idea for Mortuary Assistant? So that was actually back when I was doing the Patreon prototype stuff early on. I created that as a game jam thing for like a week. I gave myself a week to make a spooky game. And so when I had my back against the wall. I was like, well, how do I make something small and creepy? I have to have a small environment. I have to have something that would be spooky right away. What is that? It's like, well, dead bodies are spooky, and I wouldn't need a massive area for that. How do I get you in a room with a dead body? So it was like, okay, I could do autopsy, or I could do embalming. Autopsy I felt was too sterile and technical. Embalming I felt was more like a mix of art and science in a creepy way, because you're more intimate with the body, I feel, at that point. So I decided that would be the setting. And the prototype was just a simple, like, you walk around and collect items, and before you do something real in the embalming process, the body snaps awake and some spooky stuff happens. And there's a few random events that can happen during it. And that's how that stuff was spawned. You know, a lot of people liken it to Autopsy of Jane Doe. I hadn't watched that at all, not until really the demo came out, where I was like, okay, I've been compared to this enough. I should watch it and see. And I was like, okay, yeah, I can see that. There's rain, there's spooky, there's dead bodies, there's an old building. I get it, you know, so it makes sense. One thing I noticed is that every streamer I saw play the game reads his journal in its entirety. I wanted to understand it. Oh, you mean, are you talking about Our Secret Below? Much at work. Excited for awesome. Yeah, be working on these updates soonishly. I think it's because PT has been credited as an inspiration for many, but I think it's cool you take inspiration from movies. Yeah, I think that was one of the reasons I actually, because don't get me wrong, I've played PT, I love PT. I think it is a shame it did not get explored further. I think it's fantastic. It's really, really great. That being said, I have seen that there's a million games that have been inspired by it or trying to be like it. And that was something I didn't want to do, which is why I wasn't like, well, how does PT do it? I want to do like, nah, I decided that, you know, again, film is something that I've really liked, which is why the Mortuary System movie is such an awesome thing to me, because it's like, you know, that's not something I ever imagined would happen. So it's really cool to be a part of this thing, because film is something that I've always liked from college on, but I just didn't go that route. I went video game route, right? So it's kind of neat to have it come full circle. But film is definitely something that has always inspired me. And that's I think, how it's going to stay. Just because I feel it comes through in my games to some degree. I mean, I don't know. It's what I try to do, is have things that feel a little bit more like a film experience, in like, especially with the haunt system, where you kind of discover the spooky events instead of just, you know, taking your camera and forcing a spooky thing on you with a loud noise. Like, I feel like it's something that is akin to watching a movie where you'll see something that the protagonist doesn't. So in the game, you might see it out of the corner of your eye and be like, oh my God, there's something over there, right? And that's what I wanted to do. And I think it's fun. Just I think it's because PT is correct. Yeah. Just noticed you live in YouTube suggestions. Finally, they adjusted it well. Oh, cool. Thank you. Yeah, you know what? This is just a simple test right now, and I mean, I certainly don't see any issue with it compared to Twitch. Again, Twitch has kind of sat weird with me for a while now, and I don't know. I think I like being able to be like, no ads, go away. I think I haven't looked at the ad setup for this. I know you can completely customize it. I think right now there's like skippable video ads and like an overlay thing or something. I don't know, but I can turn it all off if I want, and I love that. I plan on making an essay on it. Oh wow, I have a lot to say. That's fantastic. People need to know about it. Well, thank you very much. If you have any questions for it, I'm more than happy to answer, obviously. Hope you're feeling better. Yeah, overall, I think I'm feeling pretty tip-top now. I've had to be clearing my throat a lot this stream, simply because I was saying before, I haven't like talked this much since I got over COVID. So it's like my body's like, what are you doing? Regarding dead bodies, personal favorite genre is slow zombies, like an older Nero or some dead bodies. Creepy style. Yeah, yeah. I think both have their space. I haven't done many like slow moving things in Mortuary Assistant. I think because I try to do a lot of things that don't give the player a chance to break the game. Like if I do something, I don't know. I have some reactionary things that could work for it now, actually. My original worry was if I have things move slow, then the player can rush it, and then I have to figure out what to do with that. But I've written systems since then that can handle that stuff. But I have a number of things that will rush the camera. One of the things I really like, one of the events, is the dead body standing at the end of this hallway, and it comes rushing, and then the lights turn off right when it gets to where you would be. Like, there's something about that feels really, like, I really enjoy that one. So I think there's value in both. Do you think an open world horror game is possible? Yes, I actually have an idea for one. I don't know. I feel like it'd be a good amount of effort, but I think the way it would have to work is the open world aspect would have to be the way I kind of view horror is it has to breathe, and this is kind of true I think for any game or story or anything, where you have your build up and then your moment of like climactic, whether it's tension or combat or whatever kind of action, right? And then it drops and you have a nice calm moment to recover. And I see that like an open world aspect as being like the drop and recover. Like you could have events where you go places that are still in the open world, but they're a little more closed in, and they are more like bespoke to that experience and spooky. And then when you make it back out into the world, you be like, oh my God, thank God I'm back out in the world, right? And you could still have things that jump out and happen and everything, but like it would be more of a randomized catch off guard kind of thing. But I have, like I said, I have an idea in my head that's been rattling around for a while that I really like, but I don't know. It's tough to decide which thing I want to chase after next, you know? I kind of feel like PT not releasing is kind of a blessing because what it did for horror gaming. True. Could have been released and really ruined. Yes. So that was actually, it's funny because in an interview that I did, I said something very similar where it was like, if the game released, it's almost like I not in the interview, but this was a conversation I had about the interview with someone else at the time. I likened it to Book of Boba Fett, if anybody had seen that, where it's like before Boba Fett was defined, people were so compelled by the character and he was such a badass to everyone because everybody sort of decided what he was like in their head. But then once he was defined by someone, it was like, well, that's not who he is. And so it upset like everyone, right? So PT is similar in that it set a lot of people's imaginations on fire in like what could be done and what PT could have been. So someone goes and makes one thing they thought it could be. Someone makes something they thought it could be, but it isn't PT, so it doesn't destroy it at all. It's forever stuck in stasis as this inspiration nut, you know? So I think it is, I agree. I think it's kind of a blessing that didn't come to fruition. Raymond Jerome, The Basement. Oh, okay. I was surprised to see streamers actually spend time reading up on lore. Most of them usually just read a page and get... Yeah, so that's funny, frankly, because I noticed the same thing. I was like, people are actually reading this stuff? Like, I put it there for lore junkies if they want to try and find things. But that is something I want to try and get in for this Halloween update. There's a little bit more lore that kind of mentions things from Raymond's perspective, but not giving a ton. What's up, Dank? It has been a while. Hey, Yambo, how's it going? Open world in my age tiered up, friends. I love open world games so much and just traveling around this world. I was a single player Red Dead Redemption. Yeah. Being at Gamescom, I talked to the Dread XP peeps and played their games. It would have been cool to see you there. Yeah, unfortunately, Gamescom, I think, rejected Mortuary Assistant. You have to apply. And at the time, I didn't have a fully fleshed out like gameplay loop. So I think it was harder to grok what the game was at the time. And so they're like, nah. Oh my God, have I made it to the bottom? Oh my goodness. I'm a massive fan of horror, and your game has lived in my head. Oh, awesome. I love to talk about having for yeah, absolutely. If you had time in the future, do you allow contact? Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. I try to. Sometimes there's a flood of DMs on Twitter. It comes in waves, and sometimes there's just a flood of like a bunch of DMs. And so I'm like, I try to answer what I can, and then I go do something else, and I forget, and then more come in, and I end up losing track of a couple, and I feel bad. But there's only so much I can do, right? But yes, absolutely. My Twitter DMs are always open. Emails always open. I'm more than happy to chat about things. I've been on plenty of podcasts and stuff. I love doing it. It's a great excuse to sit down and talk with people and not do other things. Do you think you will expand into a small team now? Or you continue to do solo dev? I think I'm going to continue to do solo dev for now, simply because I found, like, I feel like I've just hit my stride in how I do things as a solo developer, and I feel there's more growth yet to do to kind of define my pipeline and the sort of things I want to make and the tone I want to go for. Now, what I do see happening is maybe grabbing some freelancers every now and then and be like, hey, I would like some models made to save me some time for this. Or there's Top Dog, if any of you know from the Discord, that individual. I hired him to do some bug fixing once or twice just while I was out visiting family and PAX and stuff like that, just so that there could still be updates when I got back. So some things like that. But ultimately, I really enjoy doing the solo work, just mainly because I think maybe because I spent such a long time working in really large teams in AAA, now being home all the time and working on things on my own, and now having had a success on my own, I think it's a compelling reason to try and go this path a little further and define. I think I would like to have a really good definition of what Darkstone games are, and like my style, whether it's stuff that's akin to Mortuary Assistant or stuff that is like weird, like the We're Not Worms idea, if anybody remembers that. That's more like the Invader Zim approach, like just the things I like to do and the brand essentially, and kind of define all those things so that when I onboard someone, I can be like, this is how I do this. This is how we do that. This is how this happens. So if you plug into that, things will go really seamlessly, right? And that's really important for development to stay smooth. So I think there's a lot of advantages still to kind of exploring this solo path a little further before it expands, if that makes sense. Gotta go again, but really like these streams. Awesome. Keep it up. Yeah, I like doing this too. It's been a long time. Just want to see you making this game, honestly. Thank you. It's kind of crazy that, you know, after it's all said and done, I spent 2 years in a tiny office making this thing by myself. I'm glad it did something, right? Otherwise it was gonna be like a rethink of what I'm doing. To connect to scares with grandma at the window. Then if you walk in the hallway, she appears. Yeah, so that's Shepard, that's the reactionary stuff that I want to do more of. I would like to do a couple in this new update. So we'll see what I can get done. I mean, I only have like a week until October. I think what I'm going to do now, given the fact that like COVID took so much time away from me, I think I'm going to try to do a small update that has some of the Halloween specific stuff that I'm doing. So I'm going to work on that and get that plugged in. That's like, I have some special things already, but I'd like to do a couple of events and some decorations that come on just around Halloween. And I'd like to get those in so that people can experience that. And then maybe another one closer to Halloween itself that has more lore stuff, some more events. I really wanted a 6th ending, but I don't know if that's going to be possible now. Well, I'll try, but we'll see. Nowadays, everybody goes out and buys everything he makes. Oh, awesome. Thank you. Oh, you're talking about like asset store stuff and everything. Yeah, the asset flips are a thing that, yeah, I don't know. I've used stuff from the asset store, you know, like it's definitely been something that has been helpful. But when I get things from the asset store, if anybody's seen my Twitch streams, like they see that I don't use like 90% of it. Like I end up cleaning up the models. I end up going and retexturing. Sometimes I remodel things. I re-UV and lay things out in a way that works with my systems. You know, it's just like, they're never really exactly what I want. So I'm not someone who grabs something and just throws it in. However, it has saved some time for various things. Awesome, appreciate it. By the way, have you considered adding any subtle scares with the body as on the gurney? There are some, actually. I don't think people have really hit them. Yep. The eye tracking thing is a thing too. There's so many scares that I've explained the haunt system before, so I don't know how many people are familiar with it. But there are a lot of criteria that needs to be met per event. And the haunt system looks at that and what the player is doing. And if it doesn't meet the criteria, it throws it away or throws it back into the system to be used later, potentially. But things like the eyes following you and stuff, those actually do exist. They're in there. But the moment for all the things to line up to make that happen, make it really rare. And I think that's part of the charm of the game and the system itself, right? Because there's the actual randomization of when an event fires, but then there's also, again, the criteria that needs to be met. So it's like, first of all, did the player do something that triggers an event? Then which event is chosen at random? Then if the criteria is met. So it's like, there's some where you need to be doing something pretty specific. So the chance of you doing that thing, like you could do the thing that is specific to this event, but it could choose another event that requires way less and could still fire and fire that instead, right? So your odds of getting these things can be really low, which I think again lends to the charm, because there are some things where, like, say there's one at the computer where a shadow man walks up to the computer and just stands there until you get up. Things like that, they're really rare still. And so there are some things where you need to be inspecting certain things and doing certain things in order for an event to happen, and that event needs to be chosen in order for that to happen. So it's rare, but they're there. I started making a horror game too, inspired by Edgar Allan Poe. Cool. Lovecraft, always great. I got the theme and story, everything planned, but I need some unique gameplay mechanics. It's hard. Yeah, well, I mean, gameplay mechanics are a tough thing in horror, I think, because I think it's really standard to do, like, not walking simulator stuff necessarily, but the, like, you have a story, you're walking through it, you do things to experience the story, and then you're done, right? I'm a fan of, like, small gameplay loops that can be repeatable. I've just started really tapping into that with Our Secret Below and fully kind of realizing it with Mortuary Assistant. I definitely think it's not perfect, and I would love to do more with future games. But yeah, and that's not for everybody. That doesn't work every single time. So yeah, it can be really tough to figure out something that isn't just like puzzles and spooky things happen during the puzzles and before the puzzles, you know? Hey, James. The best jump scare in the game is the woman in the white in the door, because everyone gets so cocky. It's not scary. The one in the dark. Yeah, I'm a fan of that one. That one was like a last minute one too, because it was actually, so that was actually a mistake. I was like, you know what, it'd be great if I had the woman in white peeking through the door. And I had set up the event and everything, and the lights were accidentally off at the time, and the lighting bleeds through from the main room, and it just lit her in this really spooky way, and I was like, oh, that's creepy as shit. Like, it reminded me of almost like, as odd as it is, like a Haunted Mansion at Disney, where it's like something that's kind of well lit in a dark setting, and so I was like, oh, that's really neat. So then I went from there. And I was like, oh, well, okay, of course she's going to pull back into the darkness. And then, you know, I could have a variant where nothing happens. That could be great. I should do that. But then, obviously, there's if you approach, you get pulled through. Horror game, and the hardest part is definitely coming up with a gameplay loop for it. Yeah. Some people love walking simulators. Like there is a fan base for walking sim horror games. They want specifically that. They don't want to fight anything. They don't want to have to think or do anything specific. They just want to have the Mr. Toad's Wild Ride horror experience, right? Yeah, I have a number of things that have come from like happy mistakes. Let's take a look at this. Yeah, I've become a fan of I think I like doing things that challenge me, like they throw me into a box where I have to try and find a way out in terms of like looking at mortuary assistant setting where you're in this small building and I got to figure out what you do in this small building, you know? It's just stuff like that where I think it gives me a like I feel like I operate better with my back against the wall, you know? Like I have to force something out. So yeah, I think that's where like mistakes and things like that come through more easily, and but like also coming up with a gameplay loop in there is the same sort of thing where you're like, I need a gameplay loop that is repeatable and small. How do I do that for this, right? And you have that same sort of like small box you've given yourself, and you have to figure out how to make it work instead of just letting feature creep do its thing and be like, oh, I could add this, I could add that, I could add this, right? Instead, you're like, well, no, stay in this box. How do I make this work in this box? If it doesn't work in this box, I'm going to ignore it, you know? And, you know, obviously that's not, you can't do that all the time, but let's see if I can make that happen. Look at this, look at these tools I've made to launch all sorts of things. I think it's this one.
At least I can keep track of things.
Yeah, there she is. You ignore it or down she Oh, nope, I got teleported. Ooh, interesting. Oh, because it launched again. That's why. Never mind. It's not an actual bug. It's me still forcing sub events. Aha! It's not supposed to happen this way, so it's just gonna. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so there are a few things here. What I want to do. Oh, there's gonna be quite a bit here. I would like to rewrite key binding. That's a whole new ball of wax, though, so I'm not going to do that right now. I need a game options setting. I would like to be able to toggle this flickering off for usability, which means I'm going to need like a graphics sub menu because I wanted to add to that. I'm going to need to restructure how this menu works and looks. That's going to be fun. Yes, you have to click close, and that is something that I can maybe adjust now. Let me see here. Because it is tied to the close button. It does the save dealy-dally. I could check and see if we are open when that happens. Options panel. Where am I? What's happening? Okay, let's go ahead and head to. This is one of the cool things about Rider Flow as well. The camera bookmarks. You can go to a location and save it. Let me select command now. Oh, let's see. We're going to Options Manager, Save Settings. So, if I think it's in the UI manager that I have my actual setup here. So many things are such a mess. I can't wait. I love the idea of starting a new project because then I can approach a lot of things so much more cleanly than all right, so here we can say go to maybe I could change close to apply instead. My only thing is if you change something and then hit escape to close out, there could be people that think that that would negate what they entered, you know? Oh, look at that. I just read the chat, yeah. Well, I don't want to have them be able to... Maybe I should actually disable closing from here. I mean, well... Boo. There's a lot of weird, like, navigation stuff with, like, controllers and everything when these are on as well. So they're disabled on purpose for a reason, right? Maybe if I have, like, a blackout that happens here, so you know I'm in this menu... I could have some of the things apply automatically. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about doing, Franco, is breaking this up into sub-menus. I'm going to need to anyway for visuals. So maybe we could start doing that. Well, I got to think about what I want to do for this update. Let's see. Hold on, let me get my notepad thing. Start writing down what I'm going to do. There we go. A little better. Thanks. All right, let's see here. So, let's do. We'll say. Ooh, that's a big old marker thing. Halloween date 1. So let's see. In this update, I'm gonna want to have Halloween decorations. And then those are mostly, that shouldn't be too bad over the next week. That shouldn't be too bad to do. So maybe I could do a bit of adjustment here. The problem is what I'm wary of doing is I don't want to set a goal of having Halloween stuff ready for October, like the beginning of October, and then also start a new menu system here and then be like halfway through it and be like, okay, well now I can't put a build up for the beginning of October because I need to finish this menu system, right? So maybe it seems like maybe I should focus on the Halloween stuff first before really diving into this, because I could fix the close and escape problem right now, but that would just be a band-aid fix for something that I plan to do a whole lot more work on in the very near future. So I might as well just leave it for now and reapproach with a much larger change later. Though, I don't know, that stuff can be done pretty quick sometimes. Sometimes things that feel like they're going to be really big end up taking like a day, because it's like, I just need a new panel here and a new panel here, and I turn those on and off, and then this does that and that and that, right? So Interesting. Oh wait, I already wrote all that. Settings menu. Personally, resume rename close to apply. For all confusion it may cause would be resolved. Okay, it's apply here. I didn't think of that. Yeah, maybe I could just do that. You see Markiplier get a good ending in his first episode completely by chance. Yeah. I didn't keybind in the setting. Yeah, well, I'll be doing that. Thank you, Cooper. Thank you for playing it. Yeah, you know what? Let's do that. So this actually pulls from my string handler. So what I can do potentially is just go into here and say apply. Let me go to, do I have my UI builder there? Yeah, elements. Options close. I should have, yeah, let me find that. You guys can see how the sausage is made a bit here. Resources, text assets, English. I don't actually have Chinese. That was just me messing with my system to make sure I could set other languages. Localization's coming soon. Hey, Victor. Yo, Darth, how's it going? Don't forget to remove the close menu function from the close button script, though. Well, for now, it's still gonna close it because I need a way to close it. I mean, I could have a close button, I guess, in addition. And just give them different functionality. We could do that. See, it even says apply here, but my string handler renames it. So what's going on here? This does nothing. It has nothing specific right now, but that's okay. This is such a band-aid solution because I'm going to be making a whole new menu, but something. There's an escape and resume button on the menu, but again, the buttons are disabled until you close this menu. So you can't actually use the close button until you close this. So what I could do is make one that applies the settings but doesn't close this, and then one that closes. So I can do that for now, I think, as a decent dilly-dally. Let's open this up real quick. I think I already have an apply. Apply moisturizer. No. Okay. Maybe not. You know what? Oh, wait. There we go. There we go. Options apply. It does exist. It do exist. Amazing. So... let me turn these back on. Have you played The Town of Light? I have not. Maybe feel some of the same things in terms of rotation. Excellent, excellent. I should. I need to play more stuff now that the game's out, and I can maybe do some things. Let's go ahead and set this. Options apply. It's not that. Go. Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is I'm trying to do, like, it doesn't have to, but a lot of indie games, you know, if you play them on itch or whatever, like, there's not very many options, right? Like, you might have a resolution change, maybe. You usually don't have key binding. I tend to try to put a lot more options into my stuff, I think, because I know people like them, but that then requires, like, honestly, the system to save and load stuff is a huge pain. And, like, I mean, I have it built, but there's still some things that are buggy about it that I'll be fixing. So yeah, it can be complicated. You know, it's about what you put in, you know? All right, so now that says apply. I have some extra steps because I do, the way all the text in my UI is done is it's generated from my string handler. And the reason for that is for easy localization, right? I could just hard code it, or rather, like, for the text in the menu, I could just say the text is apply, right? And that's it in the editor. And then there's nothing else that does anything with it. But then localization, a team would have to go in and actually physically change it in here and do another build that is that language. The way I've done it, I have these where it's a JSON file that has a keyword, and then it has the description that comes along with it. And that pulls it and populates the button to be like, oh, I say apply, not close. I say close, not apply, right? And so all that has to be done for localization is they change this to the proper language. And then I set my string handler to pull from another language instead of English. And then everything from the UI to the subtitles to the journals and everything, the computer, all are then in that language. So I created it from the very beginning to work that way because I knew I wanted to be able to make it easier to localize. We just haven't sent it off to a localization studio yet. Such a pain, yes. Creating a save system is such a pain in the ass. Creating a game for my final project in high school, and I got really good progress until I decided to make a save system. Yeah, a save system is definitely something you want to try and design from the very beginning. There are things that I wish I had done from the beginning. A lot of it is item handling. A lot of my items check the save system to see if they should exist in the world or if their position has changed or something like that. And really everything kind of needs to work that way, where the thing pings the save system and checks, hey, what am I doing? And then changes, instead of a save system trying to record everything, working in the other direction. Yeah, well, that's one of the things where I'm like, I would like to change the wording and set up these menus before I ship off my localization package, right? Because I could send it now, but yeah, the moment I add anything, it would need to be localized. However, I did make it so that each of these folders, if you can see how in Night Shift I have 2 files here. In not many have multiple at the moment in this one. Notes has a lot. But NCC files has a lot. But my system compiles all of them into a dictionary. So I can have as many files as I want. So anytime I do something new after I do the initial submissions, whatever, I'll just make a new file and be like, pull from this file. And then I just send that one file to be localized. And that's it. Good luck with scratch from this 14 dirty code. It was doing something incredible. Hey, it's all starting somewhere, right? That's all that matters. All right, so save settings. We're gonna go ahead and just copy this. We'll go to our apply here, paste, and now we are not going to close. We're gonna get rid of that for apply, and then for our apply that is now closed. We're going to get rid of save settings. So now close does not save settings, apply does save them. How many lines of text are there to localize? I'm honestly not sure. I would have to, I could do a debug line that just spits out how many dictionary entries are generated at the start, and then I would know. But maybe we could do that in a minute just for fun. I mean, the way we did it, we actually used Google Sheets to build a spreadsheet that has formulas to highlight empty English words for each language, and then we just export it into a CSV, and we load the CSV and split the languages out. I did CSV for another project of mine, and I decided to go with JSON just because I find the keyword system pretty simple, and that and converting a JSON to a dictionary is very easy. Whereas with a CSV, there's going to be some extra code steps to split everything apart. And after it parses that shit, then you would need to do something to turn that into a dictionary, creating the keywords and its definition, right? So that's why I decided to go with JSON. Though I know CSV spreadsheet approach is probably better for localization houses because they can just load up the spreadsheet and change stuff. So maybe that's a better solution. I know Unity has a localization system that's built in. I don't know to what extent things are. Yeah, I could imagine. Okay, save settings, options. I've got to do this in the tutorial now as well because they are two different scenes, and I can't just have things work across the board because these are local changes, not the... There we go. D. Apply. Copy. Paste. And this is apply, so we're going to remove this. And then this is close, so we're going to remove that. There. Cool. All right, so there's a little something that should work. That should be it. That should be it to fix that weird little issue. It's a perception thing, but perception things matter. Yes, this is Unity. You have a copy of the localization of Mortuary Assistant you can send. Yeah, Franco, I've had so many offers to translate, which I am super, like, I would love, like, if it was just me and I didn't have a publisher, I'd be like, yeah, anybody that wants to do it, especially if they want to do it for free, you know. But my publisher, and I agree, wants to send it to a localization house that could handle all the languages, so it's a predictable quality level for each one. And that way, I know it costs a little more, but I know what I'm getting out is going to be not just something that I'm not saying you would do Google Translate. I'm just using it as an example. It's not just like I threw it into Google Translate and was like, that's enough. Instead, it will be like someone who knows English really well and knows the language that's being translated to really well. So they know that, oh, the whatever language equivalent of this English phrase is going to be this. Instead of a one-to-one translation, it would be like what someone would say in that language, right? And that's what I want, is something that is more like natural to what someone would speak or read in that language natively. So that, I think it's worth it. Let's take a look at this. See if I broke everything or if it was a pretty easy. Jack-o'-lanterns. We get to make a jack-o'-lantern. Some paper wall decorations, some ghosts and spiders, some lights. I did something in Kohate. Kohate's such a weird beast because it's like, it's not an amazing game. It's a cat and mouse kind of chasey horror game thing, and you know, it's not everybody's cup of tea, but I did a bunch of weird things in there that I really like, one of them being the date identification. So if you play Kohate, I think now, no, it might be a couple weeks before Halloween, the range. I forget exactly what I set for that. But during that time, Halloween decorations show up. They're jack-o'-lanterns that you can pick up as a light source. When you go into the little hub thing, there's a pop-out thing that makes a little lightning sound, and it's like, welcome to the haunted hub. And like, it's just stupid little, like you walked into a spirit Halloween, right? All right, so options. Close. Options. Apply. Cool. So if we did this, invert X and close, see, some of the things just apply locally, so it's a little weird. This is the problem, right? If someone closes, they would think, oh, I'm going to lose the thing I set. But not everything is like that. Yeah, see, this is what I was worried about. Even this little button change becomes like a, okay, we're slowly unraveling into other territory. And I plan to redo this entire system anyway, so you know what? This is easy enough fix to go back. So what I'm going to do is what I was originally going to do and ignore this right now and do the Halloween stuff and see where I land. If I manage to do the Halloween stuff in like a few days, then I can go and start messing with this menu system and doing a little bit more with it. Just having an apply button would be better, and letting resume and escape be close buttons. But yeah, yeah. The problem is you can also get from inventory, so you may want to do some stuff in here and then close this and then go to your inventory. I have like 3 ways to access inventory. Yeah. Even so, if I do this and then close, I come back, that setting is there. It's been applied. I don't know who plays with an inverted X, but they're a monster. Actually, oh, interesting. Okay, no, it doesn't apply it. But it's keeping, oh, it's keeping locally just the visual change. So applied does need to be set, but the visual change of having clicked this button stays there. So what I could do, every time it opens, I could read the settings and reconfigure all of these to the appropriate setting. Right now it only does it at the beginning. We'll get into that later. I'm good at that's a thing that is enough that I'm like, okay, I can hit that up later, and if I end up having time, it won't be too bad. Otherwise, I can always just revert back to close button stuff. In fact, check this out. This is the beauty of source control. I can go in and revert my stuff. I won't do it right now, but I can go in and revert these changes for specifically the, where is it? Just the prefab for the options panel. I can undo that, and then for the scene as well, and then I'll be right back where I was. Still a bug, but in the intro when you're getting the body, you can get the I don't have a voice line when you're not, but yeah. Yeah, there's small things like that are on the to-do list, but they are not like a high priority. I have a priority of like, these things need to happen because I want to get these out in time for, you know, Halloween or whatever. And then there are bugs that need to be fixed, and then there are smaller things like the apply button or like things like that where it's like those can be fixed, but ultimately, you know, the number of people it will trip up is very small. So you have to pay attention, especially when it's just me. Like, I've got to really pay attention to like what makes the most sense to pay attention to at the time, you know? All right, let's see. Let's go to get out of 2D and go to the Mortuary. And you know what? Actually, I'm going to close this, and I am going to revert those changes just because I won't be able to do it later because I haven't done anything else yet. So I can just revert it now and be good. So if we do what did I do in here? Oh, that's fine. Ooh, I might have done other things. Never mind. I'll change it back manually. I don't know what else I had done. Apparently I didn't check in my previous changes, which was very irresponsible of me. Yeah, I am aware of those things. They're on my Trello board, but no. Hey, here's a question. Just a general, like, you know, if I move to here from Twitch, obviously the whole like subbing thing goes away. I don't really know how, like I don't really do this to make money. I don't think that's a realistic thing. However, every little bit helps, right? So I try to have avenues for people that want to. Some people were suggesting coffee as like a one-time, like I want to do that, so here's support. But I have the Patreon as well. But I don't know how many people want to go to Patreon. Coffee, I know it takes like PayPal and everything, so maybe that's something worth doing. Or you can become a member on a YouTube channel. Interesting. You probably need to have more viewers and stuff than I do currently. Yeah, I have no idea. I'll have to look into it. Does that cost money? Is that like a thing? You can set a donate button on the chat usually. See, I'm gonna have to look into all this because I have no idea. Like, you know, again, my goal is not to be like, hey, everybody, let me milk money from you while I do a stream, you know. But I want to have those things there so that it's akin to the Twitch experience. But, you know, like if there are kind-hearted people that want to throw some form of monetary support around, they have avenues to do it that makes sense. Not just like, you know. Some people don't want to be like, oh yeah, let me sign up for your Patreon. Though in the future, I think that's going to be the most logical thing because it's a potentially a monthly support, just like a sub, but you will also get a bunch of stuff that you normally like. That's why when I was on Twitch and people are asking like, what's the best way to support you? I'd say Patreon because, you know, a sub on Twitch is great and everything, but like you get some emotes and I get a small percentage of it. If you really want to support, you go to Patreon where I get a larger percentage, and then you also get stuff, you know? So check the dashboard. Super chats, but YouTube takes a percentage from those. I mean, I imagine they would. Twitch announcements this morning. I'm not sure it's the best time to move. Oh, no, I'm not. Wait, move over from Twitch to YouTube or YouTube to Twitch? Like, I've been on Twitch this whole time, and I'm thinking of just staying on YouTube now at this point. Because all the ad stuff has really kind of been enough for me at this point. Like, I don't make, it's not like I make gobs of money from streaming, right? Like, that's not my thing. Game development's my thing. So I would rather a better experience where people don't have to watch ads every 3 seconds, you know? Oh yeah, no worries. I know you're kind of coming in right in the middle of it. Yeah, I've been streaming on Twitch for a long time, but I've kind of jumped back and forth from Twitch to other platforms to try them out. Like when Mixer was still a thing, I did that for a bit. Just because there's something about Twitch's platform that I feel is deteriorating. And, you know, while its discovery is the best for people, and subs are something where an average small streamer can make a little bit of money, it's just like, again, for me, even if you don't have affiliate or anything, they still roll pre-roll ads. You don't make any money from it, and it just makes people. I remember the worst experience I had was when I raided someone and I got 5 ads in a row, and they just would not. They were long, and you couldn't skip them, and they're just like, I was like, this is an awful experience. And then there were plenty of times where I was watching someone stream and something interesting was happening, and then it'd cut to commercials, and I'd have, again, like 3 to 5 commercials, and then I'd completely miss the thing that I was interested in looking at. So I'm like, this is not an experience I want my viewers to have. And there's only so much you can do. The only thing I noticed with YouTube is that there's a max message length of 200. I mean, there's a message limit on Twitch as well. I don't know what it is, but it's there. YouTube memberships are the same as Twitch subs, but you set the price. Interesting. I'd have to look into memberships. I haven't, like, this is my first test stream on YouTube to just be like setting it up so that it works and see how it goes. And I really like it. I mean, it's fine. This is like, I have plenty of interaction with you all, and like there's, I have said this for a long time and people have disagreed, but I still think there's validity to it, where having a YouTube channel where you have your YouTube videos, where you're trying to build an audience there anyway, to be able to then be like, hey, I'm live right at the top of the channel and people who subscribe to you see it. I feel like there's a better chance of creating a closed cycle of like content creation that is easier to manage. And YouTube is used widely by everyone, so you still have a chance of building a pretty good base off of that. And, you know, friends I've talked to about building your audience and everything, they're always like, you got to have a YouTube channel and you have to build that channel. And once you have that following on YouTube, then you can start pointing those people to Twitch, and then you'll build your Twitch base. And it's like, well, then why am I sending people to Twitch? Like, I understand the concept. I understand what people are saying. But in my mind, I'm like, well, if I just want to keep if I want to build things on YouTube so people see the content that I create or the development that I do, why not just keep it all in the same place so that I'm just monitoring like YouTube and Twitter instead of like YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, coffee and Patreon and this and that and that. Ugh, there's so many avenues. I really want to whittle it down to something that feels tight and like, people, if they want to experience all the stuff I do, they can do all that very easily. Thank you very much, Wolf God. I appreciate it. Just wanted to say really nice game. Thank you. Hey, good. That's all I want, Al. YouTube needs to allow emotes from other channels on this channel. I didn't even know you could have your own emotes on this channel. Again, I've just started looking into it, so I need to figure all that out. You know what? I'm curious. Can I steal? I know I can, but I'm curious what degree the work's been done. I'll have to retexture it and everything and reset up for Halloween specific stuff. But if I could steal my jack-o'-lantern, at least just the model even from Kohei, then I've saved myself a little bit of time. Like I said, I'll still have to texture it and make a bunch of other stuff, but it'd be nice. Let's see, Kohei assets. Let's go with pumpkin. What did I make? Thank you very much. Pumpkin FBX. Let's take a look at this. Sign it. I swear I gotta sign into everything at least 3 times a day. What's the deal with technology? Am I right, everybody? Autodesk. At least it isn't 2-factor authentication, but you want 2-factor authentication for a lot of things, so it's kind of like, it's weird. I don't know. Oh, you know what I could do? I could do a texture transfer. It's my hand. Have you heard that? My knuckles, I swear. I'm gonna have like arthritic, bumpy witch hands. All the knobby knuckles and stuff. You can emote. The live streaming experience is getting closer to a Twitch one. Yeah, I'm really thinking of staying and just focusing on building the YouTube channel and the stream to just like be everything it can be and move away from Twitch. I just like being able to be like, no ads at all. Come on in, And if you really want to do ads, you can still do like overlay stuff that doesn't get in the way and can just be closed. And if you want to do like video ads, they can be skippable. Like that stuff I appreciate that. YouTube will probably be really good for live streaming, like 4 years in the future. Then it's important to get in on the ground floor. I just don't think it really matters for me as a individual. Okay, so there we go. I think using YouTube as a streaming platform is perfectly viable for someone like myself. Oh, there's definitely been a slowdown in sales. Your first week is your strongest. Then it kind of, so sales for Mortuary Assistant have surpassed the standard, so that's been great. But yeah, it's definitely gotten to a slowdown point, and that'll continue. There'll be sales every day. It's just it peters off just like every game. Though I'm really hoping, obviously, to see a bump during October. I'm participating in Steam's October Fest stuff. I'm trying to have a patch out that gives some extra content and flavor for Halloween. So hopefully all those things combined will give a little bit of a bump. Work, but can't you stream multiple? So yes, you can do multi-platform streaming. I have tried it in the past. I did not enjoy it, just because trying to stay on top of multiple chats and everything, and like monitoring stream health for both and all that. Doesn't sound like it's that bad, but when you're just trying to develop, you know, and like work, you don't really want to be doing that. I really just want simplicity, you know. Again, my goal is not to be like, you know, I'm gonna be a giant streamer, you know, and like that's not where my focus is. You know, my focus is game development, and I would love to grow an audience and have more and more people watch my work and all that stuff. But you know, I also it's very important, I've found over time, to like make sure that whatever you do doesn't add a ton of extra work, from like Patreon to any other ancillary thing you might do. Because the more extra work you add to yourself, the more you take away from game development, and the more stress you're putting on yourself. So if you do things that are already in your natural stride, again, like for the Patreon stuff where I'm talking about the little prototype things, that's something I want to do to explore game ideas and like really figure out what I want my next major project to be, that sort of stuff. So if I'm going to do that anyway, give patrons access to it, right? If I'm going to stream, might as well stream to one thing that becomes easy to manage, as opposed to adding extra layers that then give me more to worry about and take away from focusing on development and interacting with chat and all that sort of stuff, right? So that's kind of where my head's at. Your games, yeah, my game gets me all the time, because the haunt system does more than just, it's not just RNG. There's a lot of things going on under the hood that decide like what event fires, where it fires. There's sub-events or subsystems for events that change where they take place. So even if I know an event could happen from something I've done, I don't know what event it's going to be, and I don't know where it's going to be. So it does still catch me from time to time. I obviously have been working with it for a long time, so it doesn't scare me most times, but it does get me. Yeah, multi-streaming's not fantastic. Mortuary assistant, that's for you. It's your great work. Thank you very much for the kind words. That's super nice of you. Thank you. Actually, I didn't even consider the balance between keeping up with chat and actually making progress during the stream. That's the thing, right? Like this stream is very much like I'm hanging out and talking. That's what I want to do. The whole point of this stream right now is to just test everything out, get everything set up and working, right? I'm doing some development stuff here just because I can do it while we chat. And it's kind of low-hanging fruit stuff that's not too bad. But hey, what resolution is this? This is a 768 out of 2048. Hot damn, that's some high-res pumpkin. Let's change this. I think I want to do 1024? Or wait, oh, you know what? Let me get. Yeah, never mind. It's a 512 on a 1024. I already have my textile density set to a different one from previous things. So it is 512, 1024. Perfect. All right, so that to that. I don't remember. I think they actually need to be on the same thingamajig. So let me put it back. Ugh. My brain, I gotta switch gears to Maya controls here. There we go. Pumpkin. Transfer. Okay, so now what I need to do is find the textures that I utilize for it in Cohate. They are not there. Damn it. Open a new window? No. Cancel. Okay. I'm gonna have to go to my brain. I've got to switch over to Cohate's setup here. Models, do I have a, no, okay. Assets, usually I have like, yeah, the older games I have an internal folder because I was still operating off of how some things worked at studios I was at, but I've changed over time. Art, textures, Halloween, haha, all right, nice. So what I'm gonna do, there's the base color map. Yeah, all right, let's get this set up. Oh, the tension that builds every time you go into the main room. Thanks. Yeah, I love trying to play with tension and getting people on edge. That was the goal, anyway. So for random question, the frame picture of the woman in the reception, was that an asset you made or found? I made it. Everyone comments on it. No, I made it. So everything in the game I've made, with the exception of the little cafe set up in the intro sequence where Rebecca and her grandmother are talking, that is an asset store purchase. I made some adjustments to it, not much though. I would say that that's a utilization of asset store stuff, and I didn't mind because it's a very limited scope scene that performance wasn't a huge factor because it's just one asset set and 2 characters, so it's totally fine. But other than that, I've made everything. Hey, yeah, back in my my brain has to get working. Thank you. It's actually the original. I had a woman in white model, and I made a new one. That's the one that's currently in game. So that's actually a render of the old woman in white. And then I created a texture with that. There's an event that utilizes it that is not in the game currently, but will hopefully be for Halloween. So that would be super rad. What do we got here? Select objects. That's both of these, right? This one. Sign material. Now I have to go find these things. I got to do it one at a time if I want to transfer those. So that's kind of interesting. Yeah, whatever. It'll be fine. And that's going to be, let me go to the folder actually. Whoopsies. Okay, so it's just Halloween missive. I could probably do date modified. Yeah. So we're going to do base color first. And we'll transfer that. There we go. So now... Okay, so there's pumpkin transfer. There's the original. Let's see if I could do... I can probably set up the normal map too and save that. I'm trying to do everything I can in one pass. Though sometimes I can be a bit of a pain in the patoot. Normal, open. Okay, so now that, and we're going to change it to... Where is it? There we go. Tangent space. Cool. Can you put the jack-o'-lantern on the corpse's head? I mean, I could. Though I have other stuff that is mildly corpse-related for Halloween. Asset store has been tainted because of... Yeah. Yeah, so I talk about asset store stuff a lot because I get asked about it a lot. And I don't see any issue with using asset store or anything, you know? It's about how you use it. It's the same argument for Unreal versus Unity, right? It's about how you use it. No one thing is going to make your game good or bad. So if you get an asset store purchase and you use it in a unique way, or if you retexture it or adjust the model or whatever you end up doing with it, if you're making it your own in some way and being creative with it, it doesn't matter. Like, the average player is not going to know that what they're seeing is an asset store purchase unless it's utilized in such an asset flippy way that it is noticeable to even the untrained eye, right? But most people that aren't developers, they have no idea the asset store even exists, you know, unless they're a indie fan to the point where they have heard of the asset store and of asset flips and all that. So, yeah. Nothing inherently wrong with it. So, all right, we're going to do... Where am I going? Oh, my brain. I haven't done it in a while. I have to think. It's gonna be. I think it's mesh transfer attributes. No. Oh my god, where's my transfers? Oh, my brain. I'm gonna have to search here now. Transfer vertex, transfer attributes. No. Oh, I forget. Rendering. Yeah. Why can't I remember where it is? I can't believe we bought the couch on the asset store. Oh my god, that couch in our secret below. Jeez, if you guys want to see the lengths I go to fix something from the asset store so that it's my own, you just need to find the clip or the VOD of the couch in our secret below. Good lord, that thing was infuriating. You're planning to make an expansion or sequel for your next project. Are you planning to make a whole new IP? Yes. To both. Obviously, I have a lot of stuff going on right now that's been pretty crazy, with the Mortuary Assistant movie and a new project that's spinning up with Dread and another future thing potentially. Like there's a lot of things that I'm doing. However, they do not take up all of my time, so there will be other things that I will be working on. Though my first focus to try and sort of hit a new stride with how I do things is to focus on Patreon and the prototypes for that. I've been saying forever I want to do it. Now's the time to actually do it. Because I have the time. I am in between things off the heels of a launch, so I can kind of get things set up the way I like. Come on, where are you? Is it gonna be in? Oh wait, is it a rendering thing? Sure if it's object. Two attributes assign. Oh my god, I'm gonna have to actually look it up. I haven't been in Maya in so long. Transfer maps, where are you located? I just need to know where you're located. Lighting and shading. Transfer maps. There it is. There you are. Ugh. Ugh. All right, so normal map, diffuse. Oh, weird. Okay. Add selected. That's the source mesh. Target mesh. Add selected. Map 1. Mesh. Envelope. We don't care right now at the moment. We're going to normal map, diffuse color map. We're going to remove that map. Really, it's not going to take from there. Huh, okay, well, whatever. Oh, that's the name of it. My bad. We're going to change where it gets saved. Right now, we're just going to do projects. At least I remember what to do, just not where. You know what? Let's just make a new subfolder that's going to be Halloween. And so this is going to be bakes. And then we're going to go ahead and do, I guess, JPEG, sure. And then we'll do color. Okay. Normal. Connect maps to shader. New shader. Yeah, we're just gonna do those two. Bakies. Let's see how we do. Because I forget. All right, I think we did it, and boom. All right, so that's ugly looking there, but it has been transferred into our corner here. Good, good, good. Because now you can see we've got the original here and the bake here. Now, why this looks like such poop is probably a resolution I have not set. Move you back. Let's see, sorry. Are you planning to make, yep. Have you talked to any other horror game creators? Some, but mainly just through like Dread, talking to other people. There hasn't really been any, like, I don't know what capacity you're talking about. There's been a few, but not many. They don't really reach out to me too much. I'm afraid. Hope you have a good day. Congrats on the success. Thank you. Just don't push yourself too hard come October. Oh, don't worry about it. I'm trying to keep what I do for Halloween light. But thank you very much for stopping by. I appreciate it. You can make an MA2 Kickstarter and just drag your feet forever on actually making it. Yeah, no. Also, my publisher, I'm sure, would really want to be in on a sequel. In fact, in my contract, which is, again, very standard, they have first right of refusal for a sequel. Though I did alter my contract to only allow for the first sequel. So if I decide to make like a 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever, it'll be renegotiated. So many ideas boiling up in my head, but there's a little way. Yeah. All right, so why? Common outputs. Oh, there it is. There you are, you butt. Is it 256? Aspect ratio. Bakies. It's gonna take a little longer, but be worth it. All right, so now we've got our transfer, and there we go. Still looks kind of poopy compared to this one. Trying to see, like, comparatively. Yeah, I don't know. I bet it's a flipped green channel on it. Yeah, it's that one. All right, so we're gonna move it back. And now what I'm gonna do is remove this map, and I'm going to choose a different color for this. We're going to now apply the mask map. Okay. So now that's on there. So if I check the original pumpkin, it's all gross like that, right? So now I can change this. I'm going to change it from color to mask map. And it's 1024, world space, Gaussian, mirror faces, mesh using, yep, that's fine. Fake. I'll make its own new one, but it'll throw the texture in the right spot. That pumpkin will turn green. There we go. See? And now, if I go to Mortuary Assistant, that's not that place. This PC, second drive, projects, Mortuary Assistant raw. Halloween bakes. Check this out. So there is our color map, there is our mask map, and there is our normal map. And now they're all in the right spot. So what we're gonna do real quick is I'm gonna throw this pumpkin into here. I'm just going to take the one from folder. Where am I? Models. Date modified. Assets. Blah, 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 blah. Maybe it's under props. I don't know the old structure for this thing. Haywire hoop. All right, I think I'm gonna have to just search for it. Bumpkin. There you are. So now we're gonna go into here. Say art, models. I'm gonna make a whole new subfolder that's just for Halloween. Folder. So now I can throw this in here. And we'll create another folder. Models. New folder. Textures. New folder. Materials. There we go. So we can see our pumpkin right here. We're going to turn on our lighting. Every time I turn golem looking guy, like trying to reach an award thing. Yeah, he's really into that. First right of refusal means they can decide whether or not they want to do the sequel. Like they want to make a bid and be like, we're going to support making your sequel, and then if not, then you can look for other publishers to do it if that was the route you wanted to take. But they basically get a chance to say, hey, we would like to support your sequel because we want a piece of it, that sort of thing. You can say no, you can negotiate further, all that sort of stuff. It's just that, hey, you can't go shopping this to another publisher first. You have to come to us first if that's the route you want to take. And if it's not, then we talk about that too and see where you want to go, that sort of thing. I mean to ask, is Realization Character Creator 4 a persona software to make a diverse and detailed characters, or do you have to stick with ZBrush? It's a great program to make your characters. If you want to do something that's a little more unique, it's a great base, and you can take it into ZBrush. It has a pipeline set up to have you edit models in ZBrush, bring it back in, and the adjustment will be there, and you can bake those maps and all that sort of stuff. It's set up to work that way. So, and what's really cool about it is if you go that route and you use their model as a base in ZBrush and make your adjustments, you can't add new geo because then the systems won't work. You can add them as props and other additions. It can work that way, but the base person, if you use their base and sculpt and all that sort of stuff, just subdivide, do all the sculpting you want to do, go back down to your lowest and head back to Character Creator. It'll bring that in, and the morph targets for the face will still work. All the animation will still work. They've also added, I haven't worked in 4 at all, really, because I have it, but I've used 3 for Mortuary Assistant, so I've been working in that. I do plan to try 4 for Mortuary Assistant going forward. I just didn't want to do it right now and break a bunch of shit if that was going to happen. So I haven't messed with it yet. But supposedly they have like auto rigging for non-character creator models now and stuff, and like they're working on a process to bring additional things in, like unique things in. It's a really strong program. I highly recommend it. It saves a lot of time, especially if you're just making people. You can, like, it's what I use for my cadavers, for my dead bodies. There's a thing I have that does a facial scan, so you can use a picture and it will create a face off of that. There's a lot you still have to do, but it does save a bunch of time and make a unique face. So I would go to like this person does not exist and generate a face and then run that and then have a face that's more realistic, So it's definitely has a lot of power. I recommend it. The basement ending is the last one I need and I can't get it. Would have you tried to get it? Alrighty, right. What are you? Oh, okay, that was weird. All right, we're gonna drag this pumpkin into here. There we go. For textures, bake those out. I'm gonna go to my bakes here, pop these in. Set this is a normal map, apply. And then Halloween materials, I really should only have one. I don't want to go more than that. I don't want to be bringing a whole bunch of extra draw calls into this just for props. If I have to make it a 2048, I will. But I think a 1024 will hold it all. I have ideas for multiplayer mode. It's not something I'm focusing on right now, simply because there are a lot of things people want in the base game, right? And multiplayer is a whole new can of worms that I need to do some work on. So what I plan to do is do a small multiplayer game for a Patreon prototype so that I test it, figure it out, get it all working, and then know what I'm doing, you know? Because again, I'm self-taught in programming, so I have to do a lot of learning to get to that point. Oh, you got the one in the bathroom with the lady in the mirror? I love that one. It's a very rare one too. So I like all the rare ones. I mean, I like them all, but okay, let's see if I need to be flipping the green. Nailed it. I just realized I didn't export the pumpkin. So what I'll do is take the original pumpkin, or the transfer pumpkin rather, and doot. And then old. We're going to export the selection, FBX export, models, back, Halloween, pumpkin, export, yeet. There we go. All right, so that's ugly looking, probably because we need to flip the green channel. So I'm going to move this into a better lit area, just up here, whatever. Okay, and put it somewhere where that's the problem with transfer map stuff, is sometimes they can look a little gross. What I might do is bake it at a higher resolution and then bring it down. Let's see, am I able to do a flippy in here? Forget. No, I gotta open up Photoshop and flip it manually, looks like. So the way body names work is I have lists of like 100, I think, female names and 100 male names, and then 100 last names. And those all get together when the profiles are built. And then some of them are Patreon names. I did 2 passes with Patreon. There we go. See how this all works out. And that pulls from a separate list. Oh wait, actually, I should just be able to. Dokely. In here. Okay, that looks awful. So what happened here? Let's rethink some things. It means well. It's just not good looking. So yeah, it's the quality of our bake. So we have to bake again. I also need to do the glow map anyway, so we can do that. But hey, everything is set up in Unity now, so I can just rebake and do this. Where is my transfer map stuff? Is it still up or no? No, it's not still up. Super scary when the body gets cut up. Do you mean when the slab like kind of crunches down and then the cutting happens? Transfer maps. Okay, let's see what we're doing here. So what we're gonna do Output settings, we're gonna do 2048. Okay. We're going to do a nice high sampling quality. And we're going to do, I guess we'll go ahead and do our mask map first. Just get that out of the way. How did you make the coffin eyes look so vivid in the basement? Lighting and material. Like I have demon eyes material that I made. And then, yeah, there's very specific, like the light placement in that room is very specific for that event. So that's, like I really wanted something that felt like it highlighted what's in there, but was creepy and like, yeah. May I ask you, Shadow Man, grab Gurney and cart. May I ask you, Shadow Man, grab Gurney and carry with it. It's your... There is an event, I don't know if you're talking about it, where the Shadow Man kind of comes up at the edge of the cart while you're pushing it. I don't know if that's what you're referring to. That one's on purpose, obviously. It's taking a while longer. Whatever. 2048 with a high sampling quality is going to take a minute, but should produce something much better for us. All this so I don't have to make a pumpkin again. All right, let's see what we produced here. Should have just rewrote it as a no. What? Why are you at 2048? What's happened to you? You used to be cool. Am I going to have to delete these? Oh, lordy loo. Bakes. Am I really gonna have to do that again? This is 2048 now. Oh, I don't have a source anymore because okay. Select the source. And that's the target. Yeah, that got all messed up. Okay, bake. Didn't have anything. It should have warned me. It should have been like, hey, I don't have a source, dude. How'd you make the... Oh. Finish baking, dude. I saw once possession level was grown and light on the corridor. Off. Yeah. Yeah, like it moved with it. Yeah. If they let go, it goes away. I forgot to tell you, there's a glitch where the body is completely out the door. Yes, I know. I've seen that one. I'm going to be fixing that for this patch. That stupid event. Like I've done... It's where the body gets all contorted, right? And you're on the other side. I've seen that plenty of times now. And it's redonkulous. Wait, what? Why is the mask map not anything? Oh no, is it because... Wait, what? Oh, I'm confused now. Diffuse color map. That's this. Select object. Oh, the pumpkin doesn't... Jeez, alright. I wish I got these warnings. So there's the... Oh, wait, the old crud. And then this one is going to be, I don't know, whatever. Lambert 7, sure. Goodness gracious. Okay, so old is the source. Let's go ahead and put the normal on it, too, to get that out of the way. It'll take longer, but I don't want to keep doing this anymore. Okay. I should just be able to say, hey, do the normal as well. Okay. Format. Can I do something a little better? We'll do JK. We'll do PNG is lossless, so we'll go ahead and do that. Engine space, yup. $20.48, highest dilly dally. Our source is the pumpkin old. Our target is pumpkin new. Old has this thingy on it now. Bake. Ugh, it's because I renamed the meshes. It messed it all up. Know where the body is kept, and you have to completely slide out. The door is closed. Oh, you're talking about... Okay, hold on. You're talking about the cold storage doors. Yes, that does happen with that glitch. That one is lower priority because you can still push the body in and then open the door. It is going to be fixed, but again, as I was talking about earlier, I have a priority list of stuff where it's like, obviously, events where you get trapped outside the room and can't progress, like that needs to be fixed way before things like that. Yeah. And so things like that where it's just kind of a silly glitch, they do need to be fixed, but they're not top priority. Finish baking. Bro. So there's been some design things that I've done before. There's actually been like 2 or 3 different things that I designed to mess with possession, and I ultimately ended up taking them out because of the further implications for the rest of the game design. I'm not against doing it, but I need to workshop the concepts a little more. I had a couple different things that I thought were pretty cool, but yeah, they like lowering possession can do some weird stuff, but I had some things that negated it, like, or it would like slow it down a bit based on when you used it, or like some passive things. There were a couple different designs to it. Just me, but when I use Ash symbol, that should be fixed now. Fallout. I don't know the last time you played, but there was an issue that no matter, like, it was a specific sigil, because there's 12. And if the demon name used this one sigil, no matter what you did, if you were completely right with everything, you would still lose. So that's all been fixed. What do you think about haunts breaking the 4th wall? I'm not huge into that, simply because I don't like things that take you out of the atmosphere that I'm trying to build. I'm okay with some silly, jokey stuff, but I try to keep it to moments and areas that don't really affect the game as a whole. Like all the silly stuff in the apartment, right? That's before you go into the full game. So I'm okay with that. But things that that are sort of tongue-in-cheek, fourth wall breaking sort of things, I'm kind of like, that's not really, like, I'm trying to build tension and use the atmosphere to kind of get you in the mood. So if I purposely do something that takes you out, I feel like I'm doing a disservice to the rest of the game. Now that being said, as I add additional things to the game, that doesn't mean I rule it out, but you know, it's not top priority. Played it yesterday. So it was still wrong. Did you get the proper demon though, because I mean the house is shown there, but also, oh, you know what? The ash isn't always right. Ash is a confirmation. It's not a you use it on a body, this is the one, right? Because each body, no matter which one you use it on, will show a demonic house. You're supposed to compare it to the sigils that you've found. So if you find all 4 sigils and you can look at which demon it is and know which house it is, you use ash on a body. If that body shows the same house, you know that's the possessed body. But if it shows a different house, that's the wrong body, and one of the other 2 remaining bodies is the right one. So it's not going to be, it's not a this is the right body all the time. It's a confirmation check for what you've already found. So say you find 2 sigils, right? And you've gotten lucky and no other demon name has these 2 sigils in it. So you found like there's one demon that has those 2 sigils. So now with only knowing 2 sigils, you know which demon. Now you can use ash to figure out which body it is, and you can complete the game before finishing all 3 bodies, which is an achievement. So you can use it that way. So yeah, it's not a this body is correct. It's a check to whittle down. So either you have like a body you suspect, it's to confirm, right? So I know the demon and its house. So now I think it's this one body. So I'm going to use ash on it to confirm that I'm right. So again, you use it. If the proper house for that demon shows up on it, you're correct. If not, you know you're wrong and you can choose one of the other 2 bodies, but you're left to process of elimination after that. But you have eliminated one choice. Strategery. Where is... Okay, I've used it. Yeah, no problem. This is... looks like nothing. What is happening here? Seems like something got messed up in the process. I'm gonna have to like delete all the materials and redo it. Oh, well, no, hold on. Got those and... oh, no, okay. There we go. Transfer map's correct. That's correct. Go ahead and delete this one. This one's poop. And we go into Photoshop. Close that. We're going to take this. And we're going to flippy the green. Could not use... oh, whatever. Save. So now this is a 2048. And it looks a little poopy. It does some weird like sharpening or something on there. It's pretty gross. But if I change it, let's see, image size 24, hopefully we can eliminate some of that with this. Yeah, now that looks like it might be a little better. It still looks a little crunchy. I might need to do some adjustments there. We'll see. Tell Grandma you don't want to slit your wrist. You tell her yourself. We're going to remove that map now. Now, I'm going to take the same thing. We're going to do this again. Take from the mask map instead. We're going to do our base color. And there we go. We now have the base color. I'm going to change this to color. And my comment settings. What is that? Let's see what that's all about. Oh, wait. Never mind. Use my common settings, and then the common settings are down here. Filter type. Maybe I need a different filter type. I don't know. I'll mess with that later. Right now, we're going to do the color. I think I can do normal, and just in the normal map channel, use... no, I don't want to do that. It will render it wrong. Color, and then I need to do emissive. Almost have all achievements? Awesome. Way slower after supply locations take 2. Locations were randomized. Yeah, that's one of those things where like a lot of people requested it as like a they felt that like uh, finding the objects in the world was part of the gameplay, part of the scramble to try and do things. So they thought randomization would be cool, and I was like, yeah, okay, I can add that. So I've added that. When I do the game customization menu, I'm going to allow to toggle that. But for now, keep getting non-randomized and getting lucky. Well, it's still randomized. You're just getting the original configuration, right? There's I think 5 configuration sets that can be used, and sometimes yeah, you get the original. But that's why I felt it wasn't really that bad of a change. Like I think some people initially are like, oh my gosh, it's all crazy, and it's like, well, if you play enough times, you can learn all 5 configurations and be like, oh, okay, this is that configuration and know where stuff is. You just need to expand your knowledge on it a bit. However, some people don't like that, which is why I'm going to be adding a toggle. And usually I'm against adding a bunch of like customization things, but I've decided to actually allow for a good amount of customization with the game going forward. So I figured, you know what, I might as well throw it in there. Bake. Taking so long. What are you doing here? It's a pretty strong one. I don't know. I'll do, what size is this right now? Did I change it? No. Okay. Finish baking. I think when the mortuary doors open, there should be a demon there. Met you at PAX. Awesome. Bought the game, absolutely loving it. Awesome. Cool. Thank you. Great work and looking forward. Thanks. I appreciate all of that. That's awesome. Yeah, PAX East was fun. Both PAXs were fun, except for the COVID on West. I didn't appreciate that. But other than that. Don't need that anymore. Minimize that. Is this done? Oh my goodness. This is taking forever. Did you recover? Yes. As far as I'm aware. So yeah, I had it for about 5-ish days. I would say it took about maybe 12 days for me to kind of fully get over it. Because like after 10, maybe more, maybe like 13. But, or 2 weeks even. Just because I had a COVID rebound, I guess it's called, where it's like I was over it and fine for like a day or two, and then suddenly I was just like, I felt crappy again, and like I had the brain fog and all that, and so much to the point where I like didn't want to be up, so I was in bed again. And then I felt a little better the next day, still didn't feel great, and then a little better the next day, and now it's been like 2 days since then, I think, and I'm maybe 2 or 3 days, I don't know. And I'm, feeling pretty normal now. I did lose my taste for a couple days, which was unenjoyable. And I didn't have any like horrible chest things or anything, but the first day I had a horrible headache that lasted all day and all of that night. And it was super painful, and it never let up. Like there was never a point where it stopped hurting. So at night when I was falling asleep, it was in a cloud of pain. There was no like, oh, it's lulled for a bit, I can finally fall asleep. It was just like my body was like, I cannot be awake anymore. I have to pass out, even though it hurts a bunch. So that was not enjoyable. But after that, it just became like brain fog stuff, and feeling a little like dizzy and things if you stood up. So the last like 3 days of the core 5 that were like the main sickness, I was just in bed watching things or playing Elden Ring and stuff, because if I stood up, I felt like poopy, but if I was sitting down, I felt okay. So it felt a little weird to be spending those last few days just doing nothing. But yeah, I did like so much nothing for like 2 weeks, and it drove me insane. My favorite things about the game is the dynamic gameplay. Yeah, me too. I really, it was where so much of the effort went in the haunt system, but I really feel like it was worth it to like give people a unique experience each time. I thought that was fun. Okay, so there we go. There's that. Now we're gonna do a missive, and we're done. Just gonna call it hello and bake. Have you tried Phasmophobia? I have not. I'm aware of it. I know what the game is. I haven't played it though. I honestly have not played many horror games just in the grand scheme of time, but also not recently. Like I have played plenty of horror games. Don't get me wrong. I've played Resident Evil. I've played Silent Hill. I've played all the usual things, but I'm not like a horror game fanatic as some would think. Mostly because we were talking about this earlier. I'm more inspired by film than video games, and I kind of like that. I feel like it keeps me sort of in a different mindset. However, I do think I need to play more just so I can benefit from like, oh, that's a cool mechanic, or that's a neat way to deal with that problem, right? And kind of like drive new ideas from it. So I do still think there's value to it, and I need to start playing more of them. And I might just do that on stream a little bit too, because why not? I had to run to the store real quick. Did you ever think in your life that you would have your own movie? No. One thing I was scared to death about, though, when it was brought up, and this was actually like, so Epic Pictures is the parent company for my publisher, which is why it happened so naturally. I have had 2 or 3 people contact me about making it into a movie also. It's just Epic Pictures already had that conversation with me, so I went with them. But basically it was like a month, I think, after I had signed with Dread, the owner of Epic Pictures was like, hey, I think this would make a really good movie. Would that be something you'd want to do? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. That'd be rad. So that was that idea started early on. It wasn't something that was just like, oh, it's successful, let's make a movie. It was something that I had agreed to doing early on, and it just took a while to get to the point where we were actually doing it. And then we interviewed directors, writer-directors, and found who we wanted to work with, Jeremiah Kipp, who's super talented. And now he's doing drafts of the script, and I've been helping edit the script because I'm an executive producer on it now. So yeah, it was something that I did not think would happen. But like I was saying, I was kind of scared of it because of like games like Poppy's Playtime, where not to disparage them or anything. I'm not saying anything negative, but it was perceived by a lot of people that they were just trying to grab as much money as possible, right? With the toyetic stuff and the NFT thing and the movie that was announced, like all of that before the game was done, right? So I was really worried about the perception, the same sort of perception that I was just after money, right? I think I have a bit of an advantage because it's just me. So I can be really transparent and honest about it and be like, this is just a very cool thing for me, personally. But I think, yeah, luckily, I'm not doing anything to just try and make money off the game. My goal has been to make something that people enjoy, and like, I really just, there's something amazing about seeing people play my game and have fun playing my game. If the game makes money, that is obviously a great thing. It lets me keep doing it. I want it to be successful, but it's not what drives me. And the idea of having a movie about my game is something that, yeah, I never thought was going to be something that would happen at all with anything that I would make. And I was talking about it earlier, how back in college, I really liked film. I really liked working on film. But it was not the route that I took. I ended up just, going the video game development route. So it's really awesome to come full circle to something else that I love. Let me see. Let me throw these in here, see if I can just override what's there. Add to others. Okay, So we're gonna get rid of this, this, and this. So it's 3 new ones. So we're gonna go ahead and delete those, and then Unity is gonna be like, "What'd you do that for?" and add new stuff. There we go. Did you ever think? Speaking of today, movies inspire the game. So there isn't one specific movie I would say that inspired the game. Most people directly go to Autopsy of Jane Doe. I hadn't watched it at all until the demo. So like I did the prototype, I started development on the full game. I had seen the comparisons to it, but I hadn't seen the movie. The demo came out, saw more comparisons to it, and then I was like, okay, I should probably watch this and totally get the similarities, right? The stormy night, the dead body, the morgue stuff, the old building, like I totally get the parallels drawn there, but it was not what inspired me. But the movies, again, there's no one movie, but things like Paranormal Activity, and then I was talking about before, like the Conjuring series, Sinister, and what was I thinking of? I can't think of the name. I don't remember. Old movie. Great jump scare at the start with the nurse closing down all the rooms and turning off the lights, and then it's just a guy in a white robe with scissors comes walking after. It's a really great suspense build. Why can I not remember? Oh my god. What is wrong with me? Why? What's happened to my brain? I'm gonna blame it on more COVID brain fog. Oh, it is The Exorcist. Okay, it's Exorcist 3 with that event, but yeah. I was like, it's not The Exorcist. It's like, no, okay, it is The Exorcist. We expand lore in the future, yes. Is the movie going to show corpse boobs? Or are they going to be... You know what? We haven't talked about that. I don't know. I'm fine with that, though, honestly, in the embalming process, they cover up the bodies out of like respect, basically, and privacy and all that. It's gonna look gross for a sec, and then we're gonna have an emissive map there. The amount of time this has taken, I'm kind of like, is this even worth it? I could have just made something else. Oh wait, you know what? Let's go with EV. We'll go with 9. We'll go 8 for the exposure value. And then for this, we're going to say, hey, I'm on normal map. Give me the normals. Okay. Now we're still super heavy here, and we're gonna need to do some. Let me see if I can. If I set this myself, like down res it. Still has a little bit of grossness to it. Let's go ahead and make, I mean, it doesn't matter. It's going to be a 1024. Let's see what we can do about this normal map now. So we're going to change it to 1024. But first, we're going to see about doing a little bit of a blur. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. Not like a smart blur. Usually that never works, but... Well, that's interesting. I'll do this. Well, that's interesting. Let's try that. I know that's weird, but I kind of want to see where this goes. I'm just one guy, so I have no idea how easy it'd be to do, but have you considered a VR? Yes. So I get asked about VR all the time. And what I've said in the past, and I still believe this, is that I want to do it. I really like VR. It's something that my publisher would want to know about and be involved in and everything. So there's that aspect, but also, I wouldn't want to just slap VR support on top of the existing game. I don't like when games do that. I don't want you to just do the exact same game but with a headset on. So I would want to do like when you use the trocar, you're doing the trocar movement. When you're cutting into the skin, you're cutting, right? Like I want to do that, and I want to make like some haunting events that play specifically with the idea of VR, you know. So I want to do it, but it would have to be like a side thing that I kind of mess with every now and then until I built something that I really liked. So, you know, it's there, but yeah. Okay, let's blur this a smidgen. Just a smidgen to clear that up. And then a little bit with that. And then see about softening it with not that color. Trying to see how lazy I can be with this. I feel like in this time I probably could have sculpted another pumpkin. See what happens here. Oh, whoopsie dipsy. Did it finish? Oh, that's right. It's 2048, so it's going to be kind of gross with it. Hey, what? Is this not the same one? Is this some other one? Oh no, I opened the wrong one. Okay, hold up. Forgot I opened from the raw folder, not here. So there's this. And then you get, come on. Come on. There we go, try that. Save. Nope, cancel. Flatten. Save. There we go. It's a little better. Still don't know about that. That's a hell of a that's a hell of a candle in there. Let's crank that down a smidge. Still needs to be glowy. There we go. And then for this, maybe we'll adjust the smoothness to be a little more like there. That's a little better. I'm not mad at that. I mean, that's not ideal with the little bumpy bits there, but let's put it in a place. Flashbang inside. Yes, Halloween update. What's up, dude? By the way, with the apply close button, you could make a queue that just pushes settings onto it, changes them when you hit apply, and clears the queue. Yeah, no. So the easiest thing to do. So those settings aren't actually being applied when you hit close. It's just visually. So all I've got to do is anytime you open the menu, I just need to look at the option settings, which have already been loaded. They're there. I can just access them real quick and be like, hey, set it to this, set this value. And just visually do that. So nothing terrible, just... Oh, this should be a physics thing. Don't want to replace that though, so maybe go here and it's a pretty good sized pumpkin. Maybe I'll move it down a little bit. Get everything there. That's still a bright ass tackling. I don't mind it. You know what we'll do? Hold on. Just further. Might as well just further play into this, you know? This is some hell pumpkin shit right here. then we're going to change this. And then we're also going to make it a spot, which I know is weird, but then it's just like whoop out the front. You know, we're going to turn off volumetrics. That's kind of silly. And this is going to be generic. Also, what about rooms? Yeah, so I got to turn it on for all of them. Bathroom, hall. Yeah, exterior. There we go. Go ahead and do that. There. And then that. And we'll change the start point from radio. Like that. A little more yellowy. There we go. That one's on top. Open door so it falls down in front of your face. Demons like to use children as, I guess, hard. But adding in child-based spirits or sounds be something you'd consider adding. I don't know. I feel like the spooky child thing is... I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like it's really easy to be like, kids are spooky, you know, and I don't know. I'm not against it. I would just need to think about like workshop ideas for it. That and this will not cast shadows. There we go. So now there we go. Let's take a look at that real quick. Kids really are spooky. Yeah. The problem is what I've based the spirits off of are actually based on like things that are pretty well known and seen on like YouTube videos of closed circuit television stuff where you see Shadow Man or Woman in White, stuff like that. There aren't too many that have, like, I mean, there are ones that have kids, but the whole point of the spirits that I chose and designed was to try and build some familiarity where people are like, oh, I've actually seen that or something similar to that in this story or this video or whatever, right? And with the kid thing, I would have to, I mean, I think there's a general, like, spooky kid thing, so maybe it's fine. I don't know. I'd have to think about it. And let's see, so if we do this. Hey, all right. Super glowy pumpkin. I could probably do a gradient on it where I have it be like darker at the top there, but then I'd have to do something there. Oh, figure it out. Problem is I didn't model the inside with a candle and everything, right? So it's gotta have something. Yeah, the problem is anything that has to do with like a real world interaction becomes like, well, how do I translate that? What if I then did another one going in this direction? That's kind of weird. That, like, is way less strong, so that you have, like... It's kind of silly to do this, but... Just so there's, like, a strong forward light and a really, like... subtle or really strong. Yeah, strong forward light and a subtle backlight. Yeah, you know, with it. Because then I get stuff like this that ends up looking a little weird. I mean, I could do. Yep. Do that, and then more subtle that way, maybe. Blend in there. That could work. Yeah, that spot makes it look a little weird. Point, rather. We'll get there. That's better. I know most of these changes won't, the lighting changes won't stay, but the material ones will. Oh boy, they found a girl for me. How do I stop that? Why can't I see options for that? That's weird. This is a good test. I'm glad we did this. Oh, there we go. Report, put user timeout, high user in this channel. I guess put user in timeout, huh? There we go. If you want, I can moderate on your channel so you can focus on game dev. Sure. What the? Oops.
Hello? Hello? Rebecca? Rebecca? What the?
What the? Okay, cool. I think that's good. Okay. Overall, I think we're good. You know what? I wonder. I super wonder. Which one is this? This is it. Right here, right? I think. What if red got flipped too? Sometimes that happens. This is the wrong one. Flip the wrong one. Small one. Here we go. You. Especially doing a transfer like this. Sometimes it gets all wonky. Man, those back ones look awful. Boo. I mean, it does seem like, looking at it, let me see here. Yeah, it does seem like a light source there. Like, let me just add another point light here just to see. This is a lot for a pumpkin, I know. But it's what we do. Just need something to better test this. Alright, so try it again, see what happens here. Can't quite tell, honestly. I mean, it does look like that's correct now. These are kind of lit appropriately. That lip also looks correct. Try it again. Gotta compare. Actually, that shadow looks correct, and then that's light there. Looks like actually that was already correct then. Okay. Now, blue was one of those weird ones. Green, this one was obviously wrong. Actually, wait a minute. Was it wrong? Sometimes normal maps are wonky in trying to decipher what's going on with it. God, this back stuff looks awful. Possibly. All right, well, either way, let me, okay, so hold on, there's where I need to look, is that eye ridge right there. It's still lit correctly. Because things are oriented sideways, it becomes a little weird to try and decipher this. Okay, that's incorrect. All right. So that's correct. And then, yeah, my top lighting is actually in the red channel for this because it's on its side, which is, again, weird. Might be able to swap those channels and get this looking a little bit. Actually, see how that's dark right there? It's going to be incorrect. There we go. That's light now. That's light, that's dark. Okay. That's correct. I just have to make it not look like ass on the back there. We'll figure something out. Anyway, might as well sprinkle some insulin shots around post-Halloween soon. Okay. It is lunchtime, so I gotta depart and throw some food inside of myself. But I would say this was a successful test. You know, got the stream set up and working. I'll look into how I can customize stuff and add the like membership thing and all that, if that's even something I'm able to do. I don't know. I'll look into it because I like having control over the ad situation. And, you know, if I do want to monetize, I can keep it out of the way, or I can make things skippable or whatever. I think it's just a nicer way to do it, and I think it's kind of closed garden, and like if people come to the channel, see the videos, they can see I'm live and want to do that. I think those are nice. So we'll see. I'll look into it more. Anyway, thank you for hanging out. You see, there's no commands for Patreon either at the moment. Here. Obviously, there's no commands at all at the moment. Ad blockers are also better on YouTube. Yeah, exactly. So if you, as an individual, don't want any ads, then whether or not I'm choosing to run them, you're able to remove them. I'm not driven by that anyway, so I'll probably just turn them all off completely and just try to push, you know, that sort of stuff where it's like, if you want to support me, there's a Patreon, there's maybe I'll set up a coffee. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, I got to go. And thank you for hanging out. I don't have any official streaming schedule or anything yet. I'm just testing these things out. I'll put on Twitter if I go live again and test stuff out. Because I'm going to look into how this all works and try to get it configured. So I may do some more test runs just to see how it all unfolds. And then I'll come up with some sort of actual streaming schedule that makes sense. Just something that's a little more solidified. So thank you for hanging out. I greatly appreciate it. It's so cool. I feel safe knowing there will be no jump scares right now that you know of. All right. I'm out of here, everybody. Again, thank you so much. I'll put on Twitter next time I do this and give stuff a shot and have some more things configured. Until next time, everybody, I'll talk to you through the other avenues of Twitter and Discord and all those things. Everybody have a fantastic day. Thank you. Love you to pieces. Bye, everybody.